But basically, what I'm talking about with the whole thing is there's definitely a difference between Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart. Not necessarily the funniness. I'm talking about the freedom. I'm saying the freedom on what Dave Chappelle could say. He'll receive backlash and be like, yo, I don't give a fuck. That's me. To the point where Kevin Hart, he can't say certain things because he doesn't have that freedom to do so.
But when you go off brand, that's what happens. Dave Chappelle's brand is being political and blah. Kevin Hart's brand is just being silly and being funny. So if you go off brand, motherfuckers are gonna come at you. It's like that comedian Lisa Lampanelli, she used to do bad, inappropriate jokes, like racist jokes, and if anyone else did that, it would have been a problem. But because that was her shtick, it wasn't a problem. You know what I'm saying? When you go off brand, you start, you know what I'm saying, start beef.
Yep. And that's the thing. Yeah. And I don't think that, I don't know, for some reason it doesn't look like Kevin Hart's really understanding that. He's basically, you know, his whole thing is, yo, it's just a joke, it's just comedy. But it's just like some people don't want to hear that from you, and some people aren't ready to hear that from you.
Yeah.
Because you have this clean image, you know, squeaky clean image, you know, to the point where it's just like, you know, you got this, you know, you got all these networks and, you know, you're trying to do the Oscar, trying to host the Oscars and all that shit. So you have to, you know, portray this certain image where you don't have that freedom to be you. You know what I'm saying? To the point where Dave Chappelle, he could just be him all day long and still do it in his comedy and everything like that, and nothing happens. But
I also think Dave Chappelle has been through a lot of shit too. He's been in the business longer. He's had different, you know, obstacles to overcome throughout his career. So I think he's at the point in his career where he's fed up with some of the shit. Like now he's again taking control of his own shit, his masters, all of his shit that he's created. Kevin Hart, like you said, he's kind of the puppet, you know, he's working for someone. He's not, he does have his own stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to discredit him. He does have his own shit. Huh?
I didn't say he was a puppet.
No.
I'm saying, that's just my opinion. I'm not saying you think that. As far as like in the entertainment world.
Kevin Hart is a black comedian. Dave Chappelle is a black comedian. Kevin Hart has probably been through the same bullshit that Dave Chappelle has been through. It's just Kevin Hart decides not to make that what his comedy is about.
Period. You think so?
Absolutely.
So do you think? Did you watch Unforgiven?
No.
Okay, so watch that first, because the shit that Dave Chappelle is talking about in that 20, it's only a 20-minute or 18-minute clip. I watched it the other night.
The things that separated. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The things that separated is Dave Chappelle had a show, and Dave Chappelle's comedy is more political. So of course Dave Chappelle has those things that Kevin Hart didn't have to deal with. But as far as being a black comedian in the world, they've been through the same shit.
Because at one point, because Kevin Hart was damn near blacklisted from comedy for like 10 years.
Because he made a
and then he had resurgence. He had this whole resurgence, but he started doing little things here and there. Like basically, Shaq helped him out a lot. Him jumping on Shaq's comedy all-star, whatever, and him doing that shit helped a lot.
Why was he blacklisted? Was it over the gay comment? The gay joke?
Nah. His whole thing goes. I remember when Kevin Hart was first starting, he did a movie on the Dame Dash movie, Paper Soldiers, and after he did Soul Plane, he was just basically like, niggas wasn't fucking with him. Like, I don't know if it had something to do with his work ethic or what he was doing. Like, I don't know. But he talks about a lot how he was blacklisted for like 10 years. Like in the comedy shit, and he kind of had to reinvent his whole shit. But he, you know, it's like that freedom, you know, like Dave Chappelle's comedy always been on that political, I'm fighting against the man type of comedy. You know, you can see he always had that. Huh?
Dave Chappelle, and I don't think Dave Chappelle has the freedom that you're talking about, because he still gets shit for the shit he says. It's just that he is like, fuck it. So when you're like, fuck it, how much shit can you give me? If I'm like, yeah, well, whatever, fuck it.
The reason why I say he has the freedom is because he could say certain things. He could say certain things that won't affect his money to the point where it'll affect Kevin Hart's money. Like for instance, Dave Chappelle doing the transgender joke and him talking about the transgender and everything like that, and how the transgender came up on him and kind of like applauded him. Kevin Hart would never be able to step in that space or even say anything transgender or anything
but
like
just because it's off brand.
Right, because our brand lose a lot of brands. I'm saying he'll lose a lot of brands by doing that. That's what I'm talking about with the freedom. Dave Chappelle can say anything damn near he wants, and he will not lose any money. He'll basically gain more of a following for being outspoken and for speaking out to the point where
that's his brand. His brand is to say inflammatory political shit. You know what I mean? It isn't.
But that's not a stick. That's not a stick. How he truly really feels. It's not. It's not a.
What I'm saying to you is, Dave Chappelle is the show that would come on at 10 o'clock. Kevin Hart is the show that will come on at 8 o'clock.
Right.
And it's just that simple. So the 8 o'clock show can never say the shit that the 11 o'clock show can say. And the vice versa is true. If the 11 o'clock show did PC safe shit, he would catch shit for that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's necessarily a freedom thing. It's the different brands.
Nah, but I wouldn't even say Dave Chappelle. See, when you talk about brand, it kind of sounds like you're talking about like it's almost like a fancy way of saying gimmick.
That's what it is. That's
but
exactly
not,
what it is.
Because anything that Dave Chappelle, I don't think Dave Chappelle is like doing a gimmick. Like he really truly believes that.
But a gimmick doesn't have to be fake. A gimmick doesn't have to be fake. A gimmick is just what you do. It's your hook. It's what draws people to you. It doesn't have to be fake. It can be completely you, but that's your gimmick. If I'm a wrestler and my gimmick is the fat black guy, that's my gimmick though. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, because when you talk about gimmick, it's almost like I'm saying a character. I'm saying a character.
Yes, it is a character. It's a
right,
character.
Right, but with characters, even with characters, you're still able to live and do things beyond what you would normally do. So that's why it becomes a character, something that's not actually real, but somewhere where I'm saying that has some true elements to it, but you could live outside of your normal self. When you talk about character,
fake is what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about Queen Latifah and talking about Queen Latifah pulling guns on niggas, beating niggas up, knocking niggas out and whatnot. Queen Latifah's brand is not that. So she's not going to talk about that in her work.
Right.
It's who she is as well. Kevin Hart has been through some real shit that Dave Chappelle has been through, but that's not his brand. That's not his gimmick. That's not his character. So he's going to present the other thing. And that's just the way show business is.
But the thing is what I say to that is because every day out of Kevin Hart's life, with his brand, he does not live. Every day out his life. Because if that was the case, because that was the case when he got caught cheating on his wife, everybody would have been, say it wouldn't have been a big thing. Because when he talked about it, he was like, yo, usually when I'm out and about in all these places, my guys hold me back and my guys are there to hold me down and to take me into and to keep me safe from that. Meaning this nigga's talking about, yo, I'm saying he's a nigga. I'm saying he be looking at this, he be partying hard and everything like that, but he got people around him that keep him. When Queen Latifah first came out, she was this strong, independent black lady. I'm not taking no shit from nobody. Ladies first type shit. She always been that. When she started getting that big time paper, that money, that image changed. That whole I'm an independent, I'll fuck you up type shit and everything like that. That shit turned, yo, I'm saying she drew that back a little bit because
they're not gonna make money doing that. They're not exactly. You're not marketable. You can't get she can't do a movie.